Testing.
That's a hockey, you know, it's only game.
Pinnasta, mutta
Тоже чуть-чуть. Pardon?
Anybody else got a question?
I got new ones, if that's what you're asking.
I'm not touching that one.
I have more than one pair of underwear.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. Yeah.
Yes, I see that you want me. Oh, I feel that you want me. All the trouble and body, love on your mind, lust in your eyes.
So the Stanley Cup playoffs will feature Toronto, as Gary Galley was discussing. Ottawa's at 53 points. They still have some work ahead of them, and this was a tough one for Winnipeg fans today because they lose in the shootout, and 2 points for the Washington Capitals. Let's start, though, with the storyline going into tonight was Toronto's shots for and against, Elliott.
It's an incredible story, Ron. 50-22 outshot tonight. It's the 9th time. That's 20% of their games they've been outshot by at least double digits. They've got the worst shot differential of any team to make the playoffs since the 2002 Montreal Canadiens. And James Reimer's 49 saves tonight, the most by any goalie in a win this year. It's been their formula, and it's amazing.
You also did say, though, that their skill, their opportunism is a result of that skill. And Phil Kessel, who's normally the sniper, has another distinction.
Well, Phil Kessel now is tied for 5th in the NHL in assists. He's got 32, and he could become the first Maple Leaf since Doug Gilmour in 1994 to become top 5 in assists. This is up to the date, including tonight's game. Mike Ribeiro jumps up to 33, Giroux and Thornton. I mean, Kessel, known as a sniper, now he's also getting known as a passer.
I'm glad that you put that graph up there, Elliott, because not bad for a guy that a lot of people think is a very selfish hockey player. All he had was this many assists this season. Good for Phil. Credit for him. I can hear the horns honking right now on Yonge Street. Heels. I don't know
Elliot,
about you. I can hear them.
You actually had one of your questions answered. When you asked Lupul, tell me something about Phil Kessel we don't know. And Lupul said, people don't know how great a passer he really is. So he answered it honestly, and you got an answer, which was not like the lockout. We didn't get any answer.
My questions
despite the shot totals, I think the way, but despite the shots, the guys that had it to produce tonight for Toronto, for them to be successful as this carries on now, Lupul, Van Dreemsdyk, Kessel, Kadri, Kuhlman, all getting points, and their goalie was brilliant. So besides the shot totals, that's fantastic.
You know That's been the recipe, PJ, all year.
I've lived this dream. When I was with the Leafs and we had Curtis Joseph, we got outshot all the time. I can recall sitting on a bus, coming home from a playoff game, and they used to keep zone time on the stats. How long the other team was in your zone. Ottawa was in our zone one game, 48 minutes. Cujo was the story. I don't care how many shots this guy has to stop. You know, it's like that boxer. He's pretty famous. What's his name?
Rope-a-dope?
Oh, no, Muhammad Ali. Oh, yeah. Do you think this guy cared that he took a lot of punches? No, he just simply won. There's no replay on the score sheet. So what, the Leafs get outshot? They're in the playoffs. And this is something we haven't said for 8 years.
Each week, your highlights get more and more obscure.
I know.
I love that. But you know what? That's pre-George Foreman grill.
Down goes Ottawa.
That's pre-George Foreman grill, by the way.
So are you suggesting they're going to get in a ring? They've just made the playoffs.
They'd like to. They're good at that.
You know, one thing, they out-hit Ottawa barely, 39-37. Sens really took the body tonight. They got a Nazem Kadri, I thought, through 40 minutes of play. Obviously, Smith and Chris Neil were, they charged Reimer. They did a great job, hurt Kuhlman in the third period, and they acquitted themselves well in the fight. So Sens showed the grit, and they outshot. So they do have their work. But here's James Reimer, #1 star, with Cassie Campbell-Pascal.
Well, thanks very much, Ron. And James, I'll just say it simply. The Toronto Maple Leafs are in the playoffs for the first time in 9 years. How does that sound?
It sounds pretty good. I mean, obviously it's been a long time for the city and the fans. I mean, you know, for some of us, it's only been a couple years since we've been here, but obviously, you know, everyone should be pretty excited.
You know, you are going to be in the first time for the playoffs. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, now you've just won a game, I realize, but will you do anything differently to prepare for what the upcoming challenge is?
You know, I don't think so. I mean, you know, I like to think that I prepare the best I can every night, and so I don't think I'll change too much. But you know what to expect. I think it's probably something like tonight. I mean, this feels like you know what a playoff atmosphere will feel like. You know, excited fans, passionate fans, a great atmosphere, and two teams that really want it. So, you know, like I said, I've never been in the playoffs at this level, but this is probably the closest thing to it tonight.
Well, you fly to Tampa tonight and a full day off tomorrow. I'm sure Randy Carlo hasn't changed it after a win, but how important will this rest be for you guys now, finishing the rest of the season and moving into the playoffs?
It'll be big. I mean, obviously this season's been pretty hectic. You know, it feels like we're playing every other night, and so when you get a couple of days off, it's it's great to rest the body and get get back to feeling 100%. But having said that, you can't lose sight of what we need to do to keep being successful. So we'll have a good rest, but we're gonna have 2 hard games in Florida, and we gotta be ready.
Well, thanks for this, James, and congratulations.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Ron?
Toronto wins 4-1 at Ottawa. The Montreal Canadiens are in tough right now. We'll address that goaltending issue. Perhaps a word from Alex Ovechkin, time permitting, and we'll tee up, of course, the Canucks and the Red Wings coming up on Hockey Night in Canada from Rogers Arena, Vancouver.